to set up a Red Hat Enterprise Linux 8, and though this VirtualBox I'm using an older version because the newer version 6.x whatever it is having some issues, so I'm going to use 5.x. I uninstalled the newer version actually. So I have already created some videos, and they are in the playlist with the name extras, so you can check them out how to create a virtual machine or what a virtual machine is. But I have not created any tutorial on the Red Hat Enterprise Linux 8 or CentOS 8. It has many new features also, and in my company project I'm using that. So I'm just I can say that I'm just going through the new things, new improvements or advancements or whatever they are. I'm going to explore them. That's why I'm installing it on my personal laptop. So here we give a name to our uh, machine. So machine is our this virtual machine. I mean, as you can see, create virtual machine. You can use VMware also, but I prefer VirtualBox. So Red Hat Enterprise Linux 8, and I'm going to give it the name like master server, or I can just say what I'm going to set up it later on is Ansible, so I'll keep it like this. So Linux is the type of machine I'm going to create, so it will have a Linux OS, other OS also available there, and Red Hat 7, 8 or CentOS 7, 8 newer versions, they all only support 64-bit. So let's click the next button. This is the amount of physical memory, that is the RAM. So in our case it's going to be virtual RAM. So virtual RAM 1 GB is by default set there, and for my use case it is sufficient. Now this is the hard disk part, so I have to create a hard disk. So I'll click create. I'll keep the default format VDI. Next. So dynamically allocated or fixed size. So dynamically allocated, if I select that, so what it means, I'm going to use 20 GB of the disk size, but not 20 GB in one go will be allocated for this purpose. So as the new data, new files, new applications are added, so accordingly my disk will grow up to the capacity of 20 GB. But if I select fixed size, so it will create one whole disk file of 20 GB large, and 20 GB space would be reserved, or occupied by this file. So I'll prefer this one, because anyways my system is not going to occupy that much space. So here it is showing you what name you want to give to your hard disk file, or virtual disk file. So you can keep the name as name same as the name for your virtual machine, and you can specify some other location from here, and change the capacity. So I am changing the capacity to 20 GB, as I know it will not be actual no, it will not be actually occupying this much space, because I have selected dynamically allocated. So create. Now we see that some details are here. Some values have been automatically populated or taken for this VM. I'm going to click this settings, so that I can make certain changes. So in the on the general tab here I see advanced. I'll enable the clipboard sharing feature bidirectional, so that I can copy from my Windows OS to this guest OS also, copy paste I can do that. This description is helpful so that I know what I am using this machine for. So I can say master RHEL 8 server with Ansible. So this is my master server. I'll create other machines uh, based on the base of this one, and with the GUI and Ansible. So this will have a lot of features as per my requirement. Here on the system tab, I can remove this floppy thing because it is not required at all. And storage, here it is showing empty because there is no disk or media, to perform the installation. So I'll go here and I already specified this DVD, or you can choose some other by clicking here. So I'll use this one, and our hard disk is already attached. You can see virtual size is 20 GB. Actual size is just 2 GB, 2 MB as of now. It will grow as we add stubs to this hard disk file. Now let's go to network part. So only one adapter is enabled as of now, and I'll set it to host only adapter. And if we need, we can add more adapters later also. Okay, so I have made my changes. Now I can start this machine. I must tell you that I have not installed RHEL 8 before, so I might get to see some new stuffs here. So let's see how things go. Let's see. So you see this screen. So it has the description here that it is Red Hat Enterprise Linux 8.5, not just 8. And the first line says install Red Hat Enterprise Linux 8.5. So it's a fresh installation. The next line says test this media. That means it is a physical DVD or whatever it is, or the ISO image. If you want to perform a test that it has no defects, like maybe some discrepancies, or maybe the actual physical disk may have some problem while reading it, or the ISO image may be corrupt. So you can use that test thing. Troubleshooting, when we already have it. So you can hit I for installation, hit enter. So it says no such device anyways. Oh, that is for some other. So it was looking for device anyway. I'll click inside this window, and it says that capture the mouse. Okay, that's fine. If you want to release your mouse, you need to press your control key, right control key, so it will be released. You can move it outside. Started Anaconda network manager configuration. Started all until boot process. Finish up. Okay. Let's see. I'm not going to hit the pause button. Okay. So okay. One moment. Take 2 moments. I don't care. Installation log files are, you can hit alter with the F1, like if I use F1 it will show me these things, alter F2, then this F3 F4 like that. So on F4 these logs are showing up. So here in the F3 I can perform some basic troubleshooting also if I have to, like it is showing here I am. Okay, so it is for troubleshooting purpose only. So these are called virtual terminals or virtual console sometimes. Okay, so let's select the languages for keyboard etc. Do not show this message. I can continue. English, English. It looks like it is taking time when I click continue. Hmm. I have already asked it to use English and English. Okay. So now please complete items marked with this icon, this warning icon, something like that, before continuing to the next step. So what we need to do actually, we have to select a few things. Installation destination. Let's first click that one. So this is our 20 GB hard disk which we selected. We can select, deselect it like that. We want any other disk, we can attach it, but we don't have to as of now. Now, storage configuration. I would like to make additional space available or custom anything. So I'll just select custom because I want partitions according to my requirements. That's it. So let's click done. Because we have selected custom, so it is showing us this screen. We have to specify what all partitions we want. So it is telling us that you have not created any mount points for your Red Hat Enterprise Linux 8.5 installation yet. So mount point is your directories. Actually, mount points are directories, but they hold partitions. Okay, so we have to create partitions. But before that, let me see if it can show me some default partitions, and then we can customize it. Uh, yeah, here it is mentioned. Click here to create them automatically. Okay, so it has allocated 17 GB to root file system, 1 GB to boot file system, and 2 GB to the swap file system. Swap is your virtual memory. Okay, so it is the double amount of your physical memory, that is RAM. Now, because my system is not going to use much of RAM, so I don't need it. So I would just say uh, 5512 MB. and and for the root file system, I'll make it around 8 GB. I'll tell you why. Because if we keep everything on the root file system, for example, user data, server data, website data, Ansible files, everything, then root file system eventually become full, okay, not FOL, full, okay, full. So it will become full, and that can cause our system to become unresponsive, or it can one get stuck or hung, etc. So let's do this thing. Oh my god, where I clicked. Now click plus. So mount point is slash home. This directory will hold user data and how much space we want, because it's just a server for my testing purpose. I'm not going to have many users here. So I will just keep it minimum. So 500 megabits, 8 mount points. Okay. So root is 8 GB, home is almost half GB. Now swap we already taken, so no need. Slash where. So I have already shown you when I explained you file systems and directories, etc. So slash where is where your server data, logs, and other temporary files reside. So I'll make it 4 gigabits. Okay. Now again I click plus. So no suggestions are there, so I can mention slash tmp that I want a temporary file system, not file system, actually partition. So how much capacity? It can be 1 GB large. Make a note of this activity, guys. In your production environment also, you are going to have a disk partition layout, something like this only. Okay, you are not going to have temp directory part of your root file system, because temporary files will go there and then if it is not a separate partition, your root file system may become full. Okay, so keep it separate. Keep this slash where partition separate. If you have any other applications such as Oracle, your any specific application you can have, or your team, for your team you have developers team or any other team, you want a separate disk, partition to hold their you know related data. You specify a separate directory for that purpose also, or specify it under slash where, in the hierarchy. So slash where slash log can be a separate partition too. Okay, so these are the minimum things I usually customize. I'll just ensure that I have the home directory separate, I have the standard file system for the boot loader, etc., and memory swap memory is there, slash where is there, etc. All these things are good. Now I think I'm okay with this. Now I have about 5 GB of space available. So now I can increase this root file system size. So I can make it 12 GB large. So that's it. Click elsewhere. So it will be updated. Okay. Now about 1 GB space is free. Okay, which we can utilize later on if we need to increase any other file system or partition. Okay, also notice that XFS is a file system being used as the default in Red Hat Enterprise Linux 7 or CentOS 7. Also XFS is the default file system, but you can use any other file system. Okay, if you want to use any other, then use ext4. Look at this boot. It is not part of any LVM. Look at this TMP again. It is part of LVM. So what is happening? We have our disks partitioned into top two categories, or two big categories, or big partitions, we can say. That one partition is SDA. Okay, our hard disk is SDA. SDA1 is for boot, and SDA2 has been further cut down into small slices of disks. So SDA2 is part of our LVM system. Under LVM, we have created multiple partitions. So with the help of LVM, we get this flexibility of decreasing and increasing the partition size as and when we need to do so. Of course, XFS file system does not support reducing the partition size. We can increase it, but we cannot reduce it. So keep in mind that point also. But if you use ext4, you can reduce the size later on if you are using LVM. Okay guys, now let's click this done thing here. I don't know what is happening. Okay, so the first point is very important, the destroy format. Okay, so SDL, the disk is going to be destroyed. That means all data will be destroyed. Okay, and we know it is it's a disk file, it's a virtual disk file, and we have no data in there. So we are not worried. And what partitions will be created, we can see. What is the type of the partition, we can see. Everything is mentioned here. Now, accept the changes. Okay, so no such icon anywhere now, but I want to change something still. Installation source is your DVD ISO which we selected. Now, in the Red Hat Enterprise Linux 8, we have this kind of thing app stream, which is actually just like a repo or repository. It provides applications, packages you need for a given service or environment. So it is found on the local DVD ISO image. So we have already attached it to our VM. Now we can specify any other location to obtain the packages if we want or repositories, but I'll keep this one. It's a major change actually. In Red Hat Enterprise Linux 7 or CentOS 7, this screen looks quite different. Now, the next thing is if I click here, oh, this plus sign. So it says new repository. If you want to build any new repository, you can build it. I removed that part. Now let's Red Hat CDN. Let's use this one only. You want to verify it, you can verify it, but we don't have to. Anyways, so keep the default settings here. Now done. Now another part is installation source we have already specified. Now software selection. You see earlier we did not see this option. Now we can select it. So it is downloading group metadata. So downloading from where? From the ISO image itself. It is collecting the information it needs. Once that task is completed, we can go here. So installation source not set up. So once it is done, then we can specify further customizations. Okay, now go here. So you see server with GUI. So this is what I want actually. So I'll have the server, I'll have the GUI interface as well, norm, which is the default. Or you can have just the server without the graphical interface or minimal installation, very basic server. You can have a workstation such as your laptop. Okay, so you can have things like a browser, web browser, your office related stuffs, Excel sheet, PowerPoints, etc. I'm using the Microsoft terminology here about those applications, but you have different applications, similar applications with different names. When you select this workstation, you have this office suite here. Now, custom operating system, so you can use that one also, or virtualization host. So I'm going to use this thing. Here from the right panel, I can specify further customization that I want it to have Windows file server, debugging tools, file and storage server, etc., such as NFS, FTP server, etc. So these additional server services can be configured with their default settings. Okay, so this is system tools. This group is collection of various tools for the system, such as the client for connected to SMB shares and tools to monitor network traffic. So if you are going to use SMB shares and monitor network traffic, we can select this one. So security tools for integrity and trust verification. Okay. Now scientific support, RPM development tools. If you are developing RPM packages, then you can use that also. If you are a developer, C++ developer, you might want this. Now, tools for managing the system without an attached graphical console. That's another way. let's select this one. Now .NET Core development is also available. This is interesting, right? Development tools. So a basic development environment, container management. Okay, so that is also available. Container management, similar to Docker. Legacy Unix compatibility. So some commands, tools which you are using from previous versions, older versions, you can still use them. Basic web server. So your Apache web server can be configured. Virtualization. Now remote management for Linux. You can select that one. Remote desktop clients, performance tools, click that one. Network server, this package is in network based servers such as DSCP, Kerberos and NIS. If you want them, you can select that one also. Mail server, your send mail for example, so you can set it up. But anything that you are not selecting now, you can always install those additional services or packages later on. But anyways, I'm okay with these selections because I have to figure out other things, how they work. Now, done. So now the next step is checking dependencies. What it means is it is verifying that you have enough disk space. Sorry, you have all the packages required. Now, anything else we want to modify? Yes, time and date, which we can do later on as well. So we already have a video on it and we have already uploaded it, so you can check that out. But if you want to select it now, you can select now. Begin installation is still not enabled. Why? You see, root password. So I have to specify a password for the root account, that is the admin account. So whatever password you think you should set for your system, just set it. So for me it is just 8 characters long. Now you see the password fails the dictionary check. It does not contain enough different characters. You will have to press done twice to confirm it. Yes. So I'm okay with my selections and I'm going to click it again and again. Now user creation. User creation is an optional part, but it is highly recommended that you create an additional user. Okay, a user that you will use for your day-to-day work. So I'm going to use this word demo here, and I can make this user as administrator as well, so that I don't have to log in as a root user. Password, I'm giving it a password, a very insecure password, but I'm okay with that, so I'm using done. Okay, now click this begin installation. If by any chance um, our hard disk is not that much having that much capacity as required for the installation, the installation may fail. Or if the DVD or the ISO image is corrupt, our installation can fail. So that's why we saw that test thing in the very beginning. Anyways guys, so I'm going to pause here because if I continue with the screen recording, it may take several minutes. I mean, maybe 20 minutes or so, and I don't want to increase the length of the video, so I'll just stop here, pause here, and when it is done, I'll just start another video recording. Thank you guys. I am a little bit tired today, so My voice may sound a little bit low, but keep supporting me. I mean, my work. Thank you. Bye bye. I'll see you soon in the next video.